Network. We've been talking about this weekend's games all morning long. Let's keep it going with a little Mad Minute. It's the best way to get through as many games as we can with 60 seconds on the clock to preview each matchup. Up first, it's the Dave Gettleman revenge game. The New York Giants are headed down south to take on the Carolina Panthers. Cam and the boys, they're coming off a bye, right? Well, Eli and company coming off another crushing loss. So, guys, what are you looking for in this one?
I'm looking at the Panthers and them having the #1 rush defense. And then you look at the first running back taking off the board, and Saquon Barkley. And what they've been trying to do is get him going. I know he's had 100 yards from scrimmage over the last 3 games, but it's not effective enough. And I'm looking to see what guy is going to step up, what side of the ball is going to step up. Is it going to be Saquon in this Giants offense, or is it going to be a Panthers defense that proved to be one of the best run defenses in the league?
You mentioned Dave Gettleman, Kay. Just a quick moment. You know, in June, he was diagnosed with lymphoma. He's 67 years old. He was the GM of the Panthers. Now he's the GM of the Giants. He's making his first road trip with the team since being diagnosed. So that's a cool moment for them. On the football field, though, the Giants need to get together. This is the season. I mean, you can't fall back 1-4 in the NFC and think you're going to go make the playoffs. Not with the offense we've seen. A couple nationally televised games. Giants have been terrible. It's time for them to step it up.
You're right, and I think it's time for the Panthers to step on their throat. The Panthers are coming off fresh. We haven't talked about them. I remember when Ron Rivera in the preseason said, you know, Christian McCaffrey's going to have this many touches and this many. We all kind of raised our eyebrows like, Christian McCaffrey's kind of small. Can you handle that? He was a workhorse last time. I think he'll be again. I want to see McCaffrey go off. Never mind the Giants. Step on him.
What do you make of this statistic? 7 games coming off a bye for Cam Newton. He has 8 interceptions, just 3 touchdowns coming off a bye.
No kidding.
Just something to keep your eye
That's
on.
odd.
I know they're hot, but that's weird. All right, up next, we've got an NFC North face-off with the Packers play the Lions in Detroit. Both teams could use a win to get closer to those division-leading Bears. I just had to wedge that in there. Most excited to see in this matchup, Shrakes?
Yeah, look, Rodgers, it looked like he was playing a little better last week, but they're really undermanned. I mean, the running game is a mess. We don't know who's playing wide receiver. T.Y. might have to go back to wide receiver because there's so many injuries there. But Rodgers is 10-2 all-time against Matt Stafford. He's 13-3 all-time against the Lions. If there's ever been one lopsided rivalry, and it's not Luck and Brady, it's Rodgers and Stafford. And you talk about stepping on the neck, the Lions could be in trouble here, too, if the Rodgers show gets going.
It's true, and it is time for it to get going. You're going to meet in that divisional schedule. That's when Rodgers starts cooking. And everyone's having fun and saying Bears are king of the North and everything. If I'm Rodgers, the same. I beat the king, and now I'm going to beat Detroit like I do every week. It's time for Rodgers to take control of the division or lose it.
Yeah, and dating back to last year, the Detroit Lions are saying, well, we beat the Packers. We swept the Packers last year, but they did it without Rodgers.
Yep,
so now face the boogeyman and see if you can take down your fear, because this is the ultimate test. Can Matt Stafford look at Aaron Rodgers and say, you know what, you might be the best quarterback in this division, but today I'm going to beat you, and there's no more excuses. Kind of like Roy Jones and Carver.
My best.
I mean, Rodgers is 13-3 in his career against the Lions. That is pretty wild. I said he'd return to being a top 10 fantasy quarterback this week after being number 15 going into this slate of action. I think that happens in week 5. Moving on to the Titans and the Bills, because they're headed up to Buffalo to take on those Bills. Titans coming off a thrilling overtime victory. Josh Allen and the Bills looking to get back into form, and I'm going to say Bills 18 different times before I get to the final point of this, which is, what do you expect to see from this one, Kyle?
I expect to see an ugly, gritty Titans victory, and that's exactly what I hope for. I hope they win this game 16-13. Keep on marching, another win, no massive national attention, no celebration, and they should win the game. They beat the Jaguars and the Eagles, and you can't beat the Josh Allen Bills. You got to win this game, and I hope they win it ugly.
Your visionary producer back there is not going to be happy to hear that.
That's true.
I think
I have a vision for him.
The Bills have been really an interesting study because they're such a young team, and they just played 2 games back-to-back at Lambeau and in Minnesota. Like, that's really brutal for Josh Allen. Now he's home. Titans are feeling themselves a little bit.
Okay.
I think this could be one of those games where Josh Allen and the Bills say, you know what, it's in front of our home audience. We had some tough games coming up. Let's show America what we're all about.
Yeah, 3 words you guys used. You said ugly and gritty, and used brutal. Ugly and gritty. How about the running game? Under 40 yards a rush, 40 yards a game for LeSean McCoy over the last 3 games. It's unacceptable. He's one of the best in the business. And you use brutal. 21 sacks for for the Bills. That's unbelievable.
Josh Allen's been sacked 21 times.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That's the most in the NFL, and that could be some of Peterman's too as well. But you got to protect your quarterback, especially when he's that young.
I think we're going to see Kevin Byard take the football pregame and say, holla at your boy.
Yeah, holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy. Don't forget about me. I need to see you
Come
today.
see me.
And it's going to work. and he's going to pull a Brian Dawkins, which he said he does sometimes, or used to do, and he even said on our show this week, I have to get back to that. I have to get back to doing that. I forgot about that a little bit, and I think he gets his first interception of the year.
You know, it's interesting. Titans are 3-1, Bengals are 3-1, Dolphins are 3-1. Some of these 3-1 teams, we're not familiar with them being with the big boys. I feel like one of them is going to step up and say, you know, we're here.
You know,
Titans
Kyle,
haven't been 4-1 since 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
Kyle uses fake bad a lot.
Yeah.
One of these teams is
Fake
fake
good.
good.
There's fake
And
good.
that's what's
I
interesting.
think a lot of people think the Dolphins are fake good. They play the Bengals. I mean, that's like one of those games where it's like, all right, let's see what's
Halloween's
real.
coming up. Somebody has to take their mask off.
The stretch run is fun at this season because who's making the playoffs. This is a sweet spot because you see who you are. Are you good? Are you bad? Everyone get off to a hot start. We've seen go 2-0, 3-0, and then fall on their faces. I feel like week 5, people really reveal themselves.
Yeah. What do we got in the Kyle Brandt football experience?
We've got all
Later
kinds of
today.
fun.
6 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m. Eastern,
Dean
right here
Cain.
on the NFL Network. Dean Cain, former Buffalo Bill, former current actor. He's done everything. And we do our usual stuff. We're going to have all the highlights from week 5. We'll have the same highlights from 1995. It's fun. I mash buttons. We play highlights in a controller room. It's awesome.
We'll have a highlight coming up here after this
This is
break.
good.
We will have the Patriots and the Colts, of course, little AFC Classic rivalry action in Foxborough. History was made. Edelman was back. Gordon got in the end zone. We've got all you need to see to start your Friday and get you set for Sunday as well. Oh, he's back, guys.
He's back.
Red gloves
He's
and
good.
still. Remember when he spiked the ball into the camera?
Yes.
That's
Our
the kind
camera.
Of, that's the kind of grit they needed on this squad. That's that sizzle.
Actually, remember when Edelman spiked the ball into the
I
camera?
think he does. I think he does.
Fake news.